MDS 3.0 Section GG is brought to you by MDScertificate.com, your smart content expert. Hello MDS coders, please have a copy of the MDS item set to follow along with this educational video. You may stop the video and replay the video as often as needed to review the information. Now let's begin. Section GG. This section includes items about functional abilities and goals. It includes items focused on prior function, admission and discharge performance, discharge goals, performance throughout a resident's stay, mobility device use, and range of motion. Functional status is assessed based on the need for assistance when performing self-care and mobility activities. Before we begin, please take a moment to review this list of acronyms that are frequently used throughout this educational video. On Section GG, the first acronym is ARD and it stands for the Assessment Reference Date. That is located on page 7. Under Section A 2300 of the Nursing Home Comprehensive Form. ARD is the last day of the observation period. The assessment covers. The next acronym is PPS and stands for Prospective Payment System. The Skilled Nursing Facility PPS per diem payment covers all Medicare Part A skilled nursing facility services. SNF is the acronym for Skilled Nursing Facility. The acronym NC is for Nursing Home Comprehensive Item Set. That is the form that is used to enter code. Finally, OBRA is the acronym for Omnibus Reconciliation Act. The information discussed here is located on page 18 of the MDS. Nursing Home Comprehensive Item Set. Only complete items. GG0100. Prior functioning, everyday activities, and GG0110. Prior device use, if item A03108B is coded 01, for a 5-day PPS. Scheduled assessment. The intent of item GG0115 located on page 18 of the Nursing Home Comprehensive Form is to determine if there are functional limitations in range of motion because it interferes with the residents' activities of daily living or places them at risk of injury. When completing this item, staff members should refer to items in Section GG0130 Self-Care and Section GG0170 Mobility to view the limitation in range of motion, taking into account activities the resident is able to perform. Page 18 Nursing Home Comprehensive. Section GG0120 Mobility Devices. Health-related quality of life. Maintaining independence is important to an individual's feelings of autonomy and self-worth. The use of devices may assist the resident in maintaining that independence. Planning for care. A resident's ability to move about their room, unit or nursing home may be directly related to the use of devices. It is critical that staff members assure that the resident's independence is optimized by making mobility devices available on a daily basis if needed. This is Part 1 of Section GG0130 Self-Care. Located on page 19 of the Nursing Home Comprehensive Form, and Section GG170 Mobility located on page 20 and 21 of the Nursing Home Comprehensive Form. Complete Section GG130 Self-Care and Section GG170 Mobility if MDS Section A0310A. Federal OBRA reason for assessment is coded 01 as an admission assessment, or if MDS Section A0310B. PPS scheduled assessment is coded 01 for a 5-day PPS scheduled assessment for a Medicare Part A stay. Part 2 of Section GG0130 Self-Care and Section GG170 Mobility. If Section A0310B PPS scheduled assessment for a Medicare Part A stay is coded 01 for a 5-day scheduled assessment, and the date that the stay begins is listed on Section A2400B, which is the start date of the most recent Medicare stay. Then it is required that both Column 1 admission performance and Column 2 discharge goals are coded. This is Part 3 of Section GG0130 Self-Care and Section GG170 Mobility. If Section A0310B is coded 99, not PPS assessment, then the stay will begin on The entry date, coded in Section A1600. And only Column 1 admission performance is required to be coded. Part 4 of Section GG0130 Self-Care. And Section GG170 Mobility. Complete Column 1 admission performance when Section A0310 type of assessment is coded O1 as an OBRA admission assessment. Now we will be introducing Part 1 to Section GG Functional Abilities and Goals. Discharge, Section GG0130 Self-Care, located on page 22 of the Nursing Home Comprehensive Form, and Section GG0170 Mobility, located on page 23 of the Nursing Home Comprehensive Form. You are required to complete Column 3 Discharge Performance only if Section A0310F is coded 10. Discharge Assessment Return Not Anticipated, or coded 11 Discharge Assessment Return Anticipated, or if Section A0310H. Is this a SNF Part A PPS Discharge Assessment, is coded with a 1. Which means yes, it is a PPS Discharge Assessment. This is Part 2 of Section GG Functional Abilities and Goals Discharge. This is in regards to Section GG 130 Self-Care and Section GG 170 Mobility Coding Instructions. For Column 3 Discharge Performance, if Section A0310G is not coded as to an unplanned discharge, and if Section A0310H is coded as 1 indicating this is a SNF Part A PPS Discharge Assessment, and if Section A2400C, end of most recent Medicare stay, minus A2400B the start date of most recent Medicare stay, is greater than 2, and Section A2105 discharge status is not coded 04 that the resident has been discharged to a short-term general hospital, then the stay ends on Section A2400C end of most recent Medicare stay. For all other discharge assessments, the stay ends on Section A2000 discharge date. The final topic being introduced now is Section GG Functional Abilities and Goals. OBRA, Interim, located on page 25 of the Nursing Home Comprehensive Form. For Section GG0130 Self-Care and GG0170 Mobility. The assessment period is the ARD plus 2 previous calendar days. You will only complete the OBRA Interim Column 5. Performance for these sections, if Section A0310A is coded 02, 03, 04, 05 or 06. And if Section A0310B is coded 99, none of the above or Section A0310B is coded 08, as an IPA or Interim Payment Assessment. Again, this is a friendly reminder to stop the video and repeat sections as often as needed to review material presented. Interim Payment Assessment defined. The Interim Payment Assessment is an optional assessment that can be completed any time after the PPS 5-day assessment for Medicare A beneficiaries. This assessment sets the payment for the remainder of the Part A stay beginning on the assessment reference date or ARD. The interim payment assessment may not be combined with any other assessment. When providers decide that there has been a change in a resident's clinical or functional status that differs from their initial patient-driven payment model or PDPM classification, an interim payment assessment may be completed. Section GG Assessment Periods for Admission, Discharge, and OBRA Interim Assessments. The assessment period for Section GG Functional Abilities and Goals is the first 3 days of the resident's stay. The assessment period for Section GG Functional Abilities and Goals are the last 3 days of the resident's stay. The assessment period for an OBRA interim assessment is the assessment reference date plus 2 previous calendar days. The assessment period starts at 12 a.m. on day 1 and ends at 11:59 p.m. on the last day. Brought to you by MDScertificate.com, your smart content expert. Thank you for watching. The end.